Yeah, Deb, by March 31st. That's according to OHA. This news just dropping within the last 2 hours. So let's break down exactly what we know. That indoor mask ruling that was in place, well, that was a temporary rule, and it was set to expire tomorrow. The only way to keep that ruling in place was to make it permanent, and that's exactly what the state did shortly after noon today. About a dozen city leaders, Portland police officers, and community members gathered here inside City Hall today. Reporters still had to join that news conference virtually, but this is a huge step towards normalcy. Whether that's to homeschool them or to enroll them in an online option, parents just aren't feeling comfortable sending their kids back into the classroom. This new requirement goes into effect as we're seeing a surge of cases here in Oregon. Just yesterday, OHA reported 190 new cases here in the state. Of those, 84 right here in Multnomah County. That's the highest single-day spike this county's seen since the start of the pandemic. Grab your notebooks, kids. School is starting. Just in this morning, we learned Hawkinson and Ridgefield school districts came to tentative agreements with the unions. And it's another sign that things definitely are not slowing down here in downtown Portland. You can see there are several people still in the park behind me, and if we cross the street here, you can see leftovers of the demonstrations overnight and the break in the fence here that was put up just yesterday. First thing you need to know is that costs are rising. Take Portland Gear, for example. The company just yesterday telling customers that it will be increasing prices in about a week. So that means when you come in to buy one of the iconic P hats, or maybe you just need a sweatshirt to get through this winter, well, you better have a few extra bucks tucked up your sleeve. The rules state now that if you move, your address has to be public record. Will it make a difference if you actually move somewhere else?
The answer is it will make a difference to me because I will no longer be in close proximity to a bunch of other families.
Do you have a timeline on when you'd move?
I do not.
We have provided every single tool that I have. You mentioned that you're using every tool in your toolbox, but you could use an executive order to mandate that schools start again. Why won't you do that?
My bathtub, where it came back up in my tub.
We have seen the video of the damage outside, but tonight we're getting a look at the devastation inside. KATU's Genevieve Reaume has been in Pendleton reporting on the dire conditions there, and tonight she's showing us what evacuees are coming home to as the river recedes.
Right here, I knew it was time to leave. That was like 2 feet below my window right there.
As the water rose, Dan Dishman rushed to save what he could. Then he found refuge at the Red Cross shelter.
I can't even believe these guys are here. They're saving our lives. I mean, we're down to nothing. I lost everything.
Dan lives in the Riverside neighborhood, an area wrecked by the merciless rage of the Umatilla.
When I left at 5 o'clock Thursday, it was up to my knees.
So many of these homes, yes, they're not underwater right now, but when people go inside, they're going to see just tremendous damage. The disaster outside is a clear indication of that.
This carpet was white.
But Misty Ross wanted people to see what we hadn't yet. She took us through her home while we were live on Facebook. Mud covered her kitchen floor, soaked her carpet, and filled her tub. Out the rear door, a look at the ruin. She tried to stay positive. How do you clean something like this?
Bleach and rubber gloves.
But other neighbors know.
It's one of the worst things I've ever seen. It's a total loss.
There's no saving this. In Pendleton, Genevieve Reaume, KATU News. Yeah, like GS testing here in LO. The owner here says a lot of people are testing positive for fentanyl. And what's concerning is so many of those people have no idea they've even taken fentanyl.
We bring them back through here.
Welcome to GS testing. People come here to get drug tested. And all of these could pick up fentanyl.
All of these could, yes.
And owner Bill Fahey says they often do, much to the surprise of his clients.
They come in and they're pretty adamant that all I was doing is crystal meth or all I was doing is cocaine and I'm getting this positive for fentanyl.
In those cases, it's that they just didn't know that the crystal meth, for example, was laced with this.
It was cut with fentanyl, sure.
They're lucky because what you're looking at is a lethal dose of fentanyl. One pill can and does kill.
You shouldn't die from mistakes. You should learn from them.
John Epstein knows. His son Cal died after taking what he thought was just OxyContin. It was cut with fentanyl and killed Cal.
somebody killed our kids. Somebody murdered our children.
Earlier this month, 2 Portland high schoolers died from an accidental fentanyl poisoning. When it comes to addiction and drugs, how is what you're seeing right now different from the original opioid crisis?
What's difficult today is when people were taking recreationally, I guess, opioid pills in the past, what they were getting were actual pharmaceutical grade opioids. Where now you're not certain whether you're getting a real or a fake opioid pill.
In this photo, the legitimate prescription pill is on the left, counterfeit on the right. Hard to tell the difference. Drug dealers, mainly from out of the country, lace fentanyl into their products to make them more addictive, but there's no quality control. One pill can have a deadly dose, while another in the same batch is fine.
Tense night played out in Portland's Pearl District. Protesters setting up a barricade and attempting to start their own autonomous zone. But as KATU's Genevieve Reaume shows us, it's not something the city is going to stand.
Trash bins and dumpsters block the road. Tents and an airbed sit in the street. An attempt to create an autonomous zone in Portland's Pearl District?
12, coming!
Short-lived. Police declared a civil disturbance and cleared the camp at 5:30 this morning. This entire truck is filled with pallets that those demonstrators brought in?
Yeah, so you can see wine barrels.
Protesters purposefully picked this spot as Portland's mayor, Ted Wheeler, lives here. And take a look down here with me. These bags, these are filled with things left behind from these demonstrators. You can see there are water bottles, there's a sleeping bag there. It looks like a folding camping chair, some clothes here. When told to get out, most did so quickly. It seems like Portland Police has a pretty clear stance on these so-called autonomous zones, that you are not going to let them happen.
Well, our city leadership has been very clear that it would be pretty unproductive to allow that to happen here in Portland.
Police only arrested one person on a charge of interfering with a police officer. During the cleanup, I spotted Mayor Wheeler, trash bag in hand, telling me he supports free speech, but not an escalation as seen in neighboring Seattle.
So if you're asking if that's something I support, let me be unequivocally clear. I absolutely do not support that. And I do believe it's a distraction from the larger movement, which is to support and uplift black voices in our community.
Your license, 116.
116? I just got on the freeway.
You at 217, you're going 116, then you cut across there. Let's see your license, please. Why are you going so fast?
I don't even see how I was going.
How fast do you think you were going?
Maybe 70.
All right, sit tight.
It's video you'll see only here on KATU in areas normally clogged with congestion. COVID-19 is clearing the way for dangerous drivers. It's a problem law enforcement agencies across our area are dealing with now, and now some say it's getting even worse. KATU's Genevieve Reaume spent 2 days with Washington County deputies to get a sense of what they're seeing out there.
On I-5 and Highway 26.
Well, there's one we can get right there.
2 different days, the same story.
Your car's got a speedometer, right?
One stop after another. Washington County Deputy Mark Demmer, in our socially distanced phone interview, took us along during a few of his pursuits.
25 over, so how fast is that?
So that's 80.
Drivers are taking the open roads as an opportunity to test the limits.
You get in a crash there, you guys are going to end up in the hospital. You don't want to be in the hospital right now for that.
This is just a sampling of the catches the county had Wednesday. The speed steering drivers straight towards a steep citation.
This is the trooper that got the 102 this morning.
Data from Oregon State Police backs up the trend. OSP cited 53 people in March 2019 for driving 30 plus over the limit. Last month, 93.
Can you just tell me some of the trends that the deputies have noticed?
We FaceTimed with deputies from Clackamas and Multnomah counties as well. They're seeing a similar speeding spike.
People are passing me like I'm standing still, like I don't even exist.
Drivers are blatantly disregarding the rules.
Not only on our highways, but unfortunately in some of our residential areas.
WCSO says speed is a leading cause of deadly crashes in Oregon.
Just want people to get where they're going safely.
These stops are to save you.
Why are we following so close?
And the questions coming from someone who knows the repercussions.
I've been in a crash. I got hit by a car a couple years ago. In some cases, that is why I'm very passionate about traffic safety.
Stay home, slow down, save lives. Genevieve Reaume, KATU News.
And they're definitely out there watching for you, so absolutely slow down.